The election. So the election happened. We haven't gotten Marloon and Noel's takes in yet. They're gonna let us know why they voted for Trump. They're gonna break it down. 18 paragraphs. They're gonna break it all fully down. But last week the election happened. Much anticipation, right? This whole election cycle. Donald Trump. On the podcast on here, I said the day that he got shot, the assassination attempt, I predicted, I'm like, okay, this man's going to win the election, right? Doesn't mean I'm going to vote for him, but I was like, the amount of marketing and that photo alone of him putting his fist in the air, that whole moment is going to rile up so much of a pandemonium within his base and his fan base that, you know, he's going to win. On top of the fact that Biden, everyone right now, the economy's in shambles. Everyone's obviously blaming the president. Biden, Sleepy Joe. And you got Joe Biden, you know, older, literally stumbling his words. It's been a whole narrative this whole time. So the battle between him and Trump seemed like, okay, Trump's going to win. And then you get Kamala to come in. It's like, oh, there might be a chance, right? There might be a chance. But who's to blame for Kamala Harris not winning the election? Because she did not only just not win the electoral votes, she lost the whole popular vote as well. She lost the popular vote. The state, the country, you know, is basically more of a red wave than they predicted a couple elections ago. This is the most red, you know. I didn't expect I expected Trump to win, but I didn't expect him to win the popular vote. I didn't expect when we went out in Rhode Island to interview people, I didn't expect that many people to just be vocal, like saying, look, I'm voting for Trump. Like, we need a strong leader. I'm voting for Trump. People just, I'm voting for Trump. In line when I went to vote here in Rhode Island, people were vocal. Spanish people were vocal. Like, cheering, like, I voted for Trump. Like, they were, like, dapping each other up like they voted for Trump. And I didn't expect this. And I'm like, okay, I think he's going to win. But when you see the results, bro, he cleared out. He won every swing state, correct? I think he won every swing state. He won every swing state. Like, it was a complete. And then now there's reports of, and we'll talk about that separately. The Elon Musk shit, because Elon Musk is pretty fucking shady. We're being honest. What people don't want to be honest. What people say?
Some nigga in the chat been spamming, and he made a new account called Marloon the Diddy Puppet.
Mad funny, bro. Mad funny. I booted like 3 of his accounts already.
Yeah, that's
appreciate you, buddy, coming back. Always and supportive still.
Keep making more accounts, bro. That's just better for us.
That shit be all I see is Marloon's a Diddy Puppet. That shit be dying, nigga.
My take is I think that Kamala Harris wasn't a strong enough candidate overall, especially when you look back at it. You know, I feel like even if she won the election, I don't feel like there was going to be a sense of people being proud to necessarily say that she won the election. Like, there was still a sense of questioning, where is this going to go, etc. And with Trump winning, we have the especially core fan base of the MAGA going crazy more than ever, because why? After Trump's win, we have these reports of, which the first one, which went most viral, which I think is a bit, using Trump's own words, like a bit of fake news fluff to it, but I get it. The Hamas calling for the end of the war, but they've been calling for ceasefires and pauses for a while now, for the Gaza, the Palestine, the genocide happening with the Palestinian people in Israel. But it was like, oh, after Trump's win, like the red quote, I think it was Newsweek. Newsweek was the main place posting it. After even Rogan, everyone tweeted it like, "Oh, see, look it. After Trump wins, now the war in Hamas is gonna end, right? There's strong conversations that ended now because Trump won, right?
They just didn't read the rest of the article.
Yeah, they didn't read the rest of the article. The headline caught them, and then now we also have Vladimir Putin in Russia, bro, thanking Trump congratulating Trump, and then in talks of trying to like. Now he's like comfortable with talking more about the Ukraine war and his decision, maybe having some sort of ceasefire. Also, we have reports of Bitcoin going to maybe $100,000 per Bitcoin before Christmas, right? We have Dogecoin going to 30 cents right now. Plus, we have the stock market is in positive signs right now. People are all relating this back to Trump, right? Trump hasn't even been inaugurated yet. He hasn't been in office yet. He just won. So it's almost like a preemptive type of results, right? Or people just responding to the idea. And I feel like it's also a bad sign for Biden because it goes to show you, like, we still have a president, but he's so, like, in a shambles state, right? He wasn't even, he didn't do, like, the Kamala Harris speech. He wasn't a part of that, like, the whole moment with that. I think he still has, I think he's meeting with Trump. I want to say this Wednesday, or they're going to have, like, a meeting or something, him and Biden. But it's like, bro, we still have a president. But it feels as if, like, we're already in January. Like, there's moments, like, if you look at social media only, it makes you feel like, wow, like, we have no president anymore. Our new president is already the president. But every election is like, no, we have to wait for inauguration. There's, like, a moment of you feel it. But now it's like everyone's rushing to the Trump moment, right? And I already reported on it on our Spanish podcast. Watch our Spanish podcast at Boca. Every Friday night, we live stream with my father. And Boca, we spoke about it. But even in DR, we got Dominicans literally celebrating Trump's win. We have countries that have nothing to do with America directly, right? Couldn't vote for us, nothing. Celebrating Trump winning. Like, literally throwing parties. It's a whole... We didn't see this the first time around. We're seeing it this time around. What the fuck is happening? Right? What? And then we also have people like Charlemagne the God, people that were representing the Democratic Party. Now they're coming out and saying things that they weren't saying, obviously, prior to this. They were like, oh, Kamala wasn't strong enough. They're also saying, like, oh, we're not gonna what's it called? Like, do what Trump did, like, be a sore loser. We're gonna give it to him. But we just gotta try to work with him. You know, there's languages that weren't really being portrayed, you know, because I guess they're realizing, I'm thinking it because, like, Trump won, but this is his last term, right? So since this is his last term, guess what he's gonna do?
It's crazy. People milking him, bro.
He's gonna do everything that he can, right? Because this is his last term, unless he does everything to the extent that motherfucker abolishes the Constitution or rewrites things, and now he gets another term or third term or some shit. Which, if he does, people are already joking, like, oh, Trump 2020, what would it be, 2028? Trump 2028 versus Obama 2028. Because if he does that, Obama's going to have to run again, and Obama probably is going to win, blah, 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 blah. But I think, hopefully he doesn't do that term thing. I don't think he's going to do that, right? But what's my MAGA brothers is a reaction?
Who the fuck are you calling MAGA
Guys, my MAGA brothers. My MAGA brothers.
Oh, you're wildin', bro.
Well, clear your names then. If you're not MAGA, then say why you're not MAGA. You know what I'm saying? Noel. Actually, well, you all let the people let you speak for this to yourself. But I think it's all post, like, you didn't even vote, right, or something.
Yeah, I didn't.
For that specifically.
I didn't vote for anything national. I only voted for Providence had its first school board committee vote for the first time in 60 years. So who won again? The school board? It's like five. There's like five people. 3 of the people I wanted to win won. 2, God bless their hearts. But it now boils down to what the mayor is going to do, because it was a hybrid. So it was 5-on-5.
Did they tell him?
No, hell no. It was 5 votes, and then 5 the mayor has to pick them, and we already have an idea who those 5 are going to be.
Yeah.
Because just like we already know who the mayor be, like cock eating, who he can control. So that's all I voted on. And then obviously the ballot measures, super important thing. Every state has them. Ballot measures, some of the most important ways to directly affect your state. So I always recommend people to vote so you can vote on those. There's a lot of good ballot measures this year around housing, around the environment, putting money into rebuilding Providence public schools, and then also giving money to the University of Rhode Island to expand a lot of their different programs. But when it came to the presidential, I didn't vote. As a Christian, I couldn't vote. First off, because neither candidate represents Christianity. Neither party represents Christianity. If you don't make a decision and you don't refer back to Christ, then you're not Christian. Like, that's just what it is. And as a leader, so their leadership style isn't consistent with the word. So I just decided not to align myself with that. And then, some people got mad at me when I said that, and they're like, oh, well, you're not going to vote because it's such a critical moment. Like, it's a very controversial thing. And, I told them, well, you're voting for the same person anyway. And this is something that's been consistently coming out. Kamala went very right on a lot of issues. And, that's not an unknown thing. A lot of people who are very new to politics don't know that Democrats have notoriously been going right since FDR and Lyndon Johnson. whenever they run, perfect example, Bill Clinton. When Bill Clinton ran, he ran right. He ran a very tough campaign on crime to try to combat George W.H. Bush Sr.'s campaign. So, and you saw a similar thing with Obama. Obama wasn't, if I remember correctly, Obama was against gay marriage in 2008. So, I am not, well, on a national level, making it a federal law. So I'm fully aware of what the Democratic Party has done as a strategy over the years. It has always been to go right. So when Kamala comes in, I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, she's doing the same thing. She's advocating for fracking, but she's talking about fighting for the environment. She's sitting here talking about the war issue, but she's saying she's going to continue Biden's policies in Ukraine and she's going to continue to defend Israel. She's saying that, I'm going to deal with the economy, but she's still going to push for tariffs. Because that's the thing a lot of you don't know. The tariffs that Trump was pushing, Biden continued. Biden never stopped the Trump tariffs. They continued on to his administration. That's how he was able to create all those jobs. The reason why prices for a lot of goods are so high to this day is because of those tariffs. The country doesn't pay for those tariffs. China doesn't pay for those tariffs. We pay for those tariffs. That burden's put on us. Yeah. So Kamala's saying, I'm going to continue that. So at one point, I'm really sitting here looking at their policies, and I'm like, oh, it's the same candidate. It's just I'm literally picking them off of three fundamental issues. It's the border and the issue of illegal immigration, which affects me as a Spanish person because my mother came to this country illegally. The second one was reproductive rights, and the last one was the LGBTQ issue. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm not going to vote for either of them because that's not enough to move me. Children are dying right now. They're getting slaughtered. The conflict in in Palestine hadn't ended. The Newsweek article was just using the headline to try to get your attention. If you read what the Hamas official had said, it was the same thing he said 2 weeks ago. He said, hey, we want a ceasefire, but Israel has to recognize that they're an imperialist state and we're not going to stop until they leave. So nothing's changed on that. When it came to the Vladimir Putin thing, Putin has always congratulated presidential candidates who have won. He did it with Obama. He did it with George W. Bush. Putin has been around as long as Netanyahu, since the 90s. So that's not anything new. Like, people are glorifying a congratulations. The Chinese president congratulating too. I'm like, that's not something like that's
Xi Jinping.
Yeah, Xi Jinping. Like, that doesn't move me. I already know that's customary behavior. Trump saying, oh, I'm going to call him and we're going to get a deal for Ukraine. Okay, so what is this deal? Because the whole beef around this entire country has been that goddamn Red Sea and that seaport and that trade route. Because if Putin gets control of that trade route, Putin now has an economic strategical advantage in Europe. I literally took a class on Russian foreign policy. I understand how valuable the Red Sea and the Ukraine issue is. So if Trump walks in there in the hopes of ending this freaking conflict and gives up the Red Sea, he lost. You didn't win. You didn't win that negotiation because you gave up the one thing we were all arguing for. Y'all gonna fall for it and say, oh, well, he ended the war. No, he lost the thing we were fighting for because in the long term, beyond the 4 years that Trump has, the next 20, 30, because Vladimir Putin's not going anywhere, and neither is anyone that's under him, because that is a literal dictatorship that presents itself as a freaking democracy, but it's not. You're going to see the ramifications of that, especially on Europe, especially on us. So, none of that shit moved me. None of this shit's moving me. I've been hit to the game. So I told myself, bro, I'm just not going to vote. I don't care anymore. I'm not going to compromise my values. Because this is a thing that we need to understand. There's been this rolling thing in American politics that's getting worse. A lot of y'all sit on moral high horses, and I do the same. I've done the same for a long time, and I'm trying to stop this. And you point fingers. And you say, this person is bad. I can do the same thing to you. Bernie Sanders is on the internet saying, oh, my nigga, you the reason
verbatim?
Why no, he's saying, yo, the reason imagine that'd be fucking crazy. Like, yo, I don't care if you got arrested with MLK. You're not calling me a nigga, bro. You're white and Jewish. Bernie Sanders is saying the reason why the Democratic Party lost is because they didn't care about working people. Bernie Sanders was against stopping the conflict in Israel back in 2023 early. Mm-hmm. People don't know this. Bernie low-key pro-Israeli. Like, he was for a little bit. And he was not with this whole fuck Israel shit. It took party pressure for him to move his stance on the issue when things got worse. On top of that, remember, he's saying that it's the party's fault that it got this bad. Bernie's the one that lost in 2016 on some bullshit. He got slimed. It happens again in 2020. On Super Tuesday, all the candidates drop out and endorse Biden to fuck Bernie. And in both scenarios, you endorse the establishment candidate that the party used to fuck you over. You are just as complacent in this system as the rest of us. You're not going to give me your moral speech about how it's the party's fault. It's also your fault. You could have easily told us, fuck this Democratic Party, I'm going to start my own shit. The same way TDR did when he got hoed. Teddy Roosevelt, look into that, the third-party candidate. TDR was one of the most voted for third-party candidates in U.S. history. And the reason why he did that is because this party tried to hoe him. Bernie didn't do that. Bernie fell in line. So don't give me your fucking moral speech, bro. I'm tired of these moral speeches from these people. I'm tired of from the Democrats. That's all I had to hear from people like Charlemagne. I'm tired of hearing it from people like Bernie because you Jill Stein voters that sat there and said, oh, Jill Stein's the only moral candidate, comes out and endorses Israel the day before the election. So it's like, there is no moral candidate here. You're not going to tell me it's Trump, because the first thing Trump comes out and says, I'm deporting everyone. I'm 20 million people, $88 billion plan for each million person. Niggas about to deport anyone that was born here through an illegal parent and their parent.
I think the death penalty for like if an illegal person that does a crime or kill someone, some shit like that.
Some shit like that. Some crazy shit. He wants to push further the death penalty, which is already an immoral thing, very difficult thing to deal with. Like, there was a lot of finger pointing that I saw from you niggas about morality. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, yo, y'all don't got a foot to stand on because you be on some bullshit too. You just on some bullshit for something else. It's just you think the shit you stand on isn't as bad as the other niggas. But in reality, you can't quantify that. I can't decide. You can't prove to me that your moral standard is not going to lead to similar ramifications as this other niggas when it comes to severity over the long term, over the years, over the long term of years, because it's impossible. So you're not going to give me a moral speech. So my decision was simple. None of you niggas is moved by God. None of you niggas turn to God in this political shit. I'm not voting for you. And when it comes to morality, we all suck. We are all bad people. We are all doing terrible things. We're all complacent in some way. So I'd rather just not involve myself in this. The only reason I voted for the school board committee thing is because the nigga I was voting for, this was crazy. My sister was his student. He was my sister's student. So my sister was in she taught a refugee program at the Annex School in the West End. Mm-hmm. And he was a refugee. And she was his middle school teacher. He ended up running for office to run for school board. That's the only reason I voted for that nigga. It's because I knew him. I met him when I was coming out of college. Great kid. The kid, because of programs like that, the nigga felt so inspired to then run for school board so he can make a difference in the same school system he grew up in. That's a beautiful story. Yeah. And he's Christian. He's moved by God. I'm like, bro, you got my vote. Go fuck. You other niggas, though, that sit on moral high horses and pretend that your shit don't stink, no, you are all complacent. You are all bad people to some extent. You got to stop this bullshit. And until we start holding these people accountable, ain't nothing going to change. You niggas keep glorifying these niggas. Bro, they glorifying Trump like he's God.
Yeah.
They're glorifying Gavin Newsom right now. They want Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. They are racking him up to be the next presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. And I promise you, there are no saviors. There are no heroes.
That's not even going to work. I feel like I saw them talk about that, but I don't think it's going to work to the extent because they were trashing him about how he handled California.
Yeah.
Especially during the pandemic specifically. They were like trashing him, how he handled that, how he handled like the homeless people in California.
Oh, no, he's crazy.
So it's like...
He destroyed encampments with his bare hands.
Yeah, I'm like, nah.
But people like that.
Do you agree with the concept, right? There's a debate. Even Joe Rogan said it. A bunch of people were saying it, but we said it. We were talking about it before the election, where if Michelle Obama would have ran for president, her chances against Trump would have been staggering. Like, she would have beaten Trump because of how powerful she is as a person. People love her. She's famous, etc. She's great at speaking.
Yeah.
She's experienced, I think, what, 2 terms, obviously, in the White House already. I think I do. But we would have to see it play out. But a prime, like, rollout and marketing and everything, like a whole campaign well done behind Michelle Obama, I would have seen it. But you also had to want it. She doesn't want it. She keeps saying that. She doesn't want to run. She doesn't want to run. She doesn't want to run. But in a perfect world, well, not even perfect world, but, you know, metaphorically speaking, I would have saw that happening. I would have saw her winning against Trump. Because right now, like, you interview people with me on the streets, but haven't you seen, like, this, what's your reaction to people online? Like, you guys have seen these clips of people crying like all
They look stupid.
the Democratic people crying,
No.
etc. Especially the females, which I understand
the
the idea of
females.
the reproductive system and the rights. Which is horrible. That's one of the reasons I voted for Kamala. That was one of the reasons I'm like, okay. But realistically, right now, it seems like people are willing to put their money more towards fixing their direct home, like the economy, these issues that Trump is directly targeting, rather than the issue of, the abortion, etc.
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy. It's crazy. I knew it was gonna be a factor, but now, because my thing is, when they win the popular vote, right, and you see more and more people vocally, I'm personally not the type of person to say like fuck you because you voted for this person and I voted for this person. I don't want to be playing this team shit. But I can understand how politics is, but I hate that because it gets sick. Like people, you look down upon someone because of someone that they voted for, etc. No. What I don't love is that whole garbage bag shit when niggas be treating this shit like it's a sports and like you're campaigning like fully like vote for them and telling people to vote for this person. Like, I'm not a fan of that. But majority has spoken, the country has spoken, and Trump is the president, right? But when we still have people obviously gonna have their outcry and their reaction, they have their right to. But it's like, are we gonna see these? Are people gonna be upset? There's protests in Chicago. I think in New York already one might have happened over the weekend. There's people protesting, thousands of people in the streets protesting against Trump winning the election, but he won. He won, and then there's Spanish people. I think there were more Spanish people, more black people voting for Trump this time around than they voted for him last time around. Statistically proven. Like, it wasn't just more people in general. No, it's more minorities voting for Trump. Like, it was a fact, right? He won the election fair and square as of right now. And so randomly we hear some crazy story next week of a fucking something happening. But what's your reaction to just people in general and like their election feedback, the viral TikToks, people crying, people arguing things, streamers, Duke Dennis, AMP, the streamers calling, saying like, I've realized, how really racist this country is now because Trump won.
Duke Dennis joking about running for president. So
yeah. What's your take on this?
Duke Dennis, you run for president, you might win.
Duke Dennis got crazy aura, bro.
He got crazy aura.
You said it already. He might win. If Duke Dennis runs for president, he might fucking take that shit.
He's a great celebrity.
Then you have vice president.
I'll vote for him. Nigga, he's sexy. But pause. But I'm gonna tell you this: when it comes to, let me answer the Michelle thing first. Kamala Harris did not lose because she's black and a woman. I'm sorry. I've been hearing this a lot. It's a lie. It's such a lie. And I'm going to tell you it's a lie because in 2008 when Obama ran, he ran one of the greatest campaigns. And I've run campaigns before. I've modeled some of the shit that this dude has done. Because he is like, that campaign was a goated campaign in the sense of like, he targeted populations of people who either never voted or were never going to vote Democrat. You didn't understand the state of Georgia and North Carolina were never blue states to begin with. It was never states that you look at and say, oh, I'm going to vote blue. It were states that became blue because Barack Obama's 2008 strategy was so strategical in targeting this group of people that he knew were being talked to by a certain base, being the Republicans, and they were not being heard. So he started talking to them and getting them on board. So for Obama to be able to flip these people shows me, as a black man, shows me that Michelle as a black woman could have done something similar. She could have gotten a lot of these people to vote for her. She's much more charismatic. She speaks better. She's willing to step in the fire. Yeah. Kamala Harris did not step in the fire. Kamala Harris dodged smoke. She was dodging conversations that were not structured. Every time she did speak with someone that was unfiltered, like the Fox News interview, every fucking answer was, I'm not Trump. That's not how you win an election.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, they were upset because they're like, oh, I feel like you're holding Kamala to a different standard than you're holding Trump. Of course we are. Like, this is what you guys have to understand. The standard for Trump, for people who are either non-voters or Democrats, indecisive or Democrats, the standard is, we already know what he is. What are you? Because you're telling me you're this educated politician. You're telling me that, you have all these answers. You need to demonstrate that. So when she's sitting there just looking like a robot, that's not helping her. That makes undecided voters to turn to Trump because their energy is, oh, well, he's much more himself.
Yeah.
He's much, that Joe Rogan interview saved his ass because
Yeah.
it made him look so human.
Especially when she didn't do it after, I feel like.
And she did the Shane one instead where she looks like a robot and it's these
Yeah.
automated answers. It was terrible.
Tight ass fucking pants.
Tight ass pants looking terrible. And then on the question of like people losing their minds, this goes back to my point. Get off your moral high horse. Because I know for a fact, if the Republicans had lost, they would have burned this country to the ground. They would have had the same mentality. You people have to get off your moral high horse, and you have to understand the way you look at the world is not the definitive way that the world operates, because you only have a limited understanding of this universe. So for you to sit here and say, if it's not my way, then it's gonna fuck up. The way that Elon was saying, if they win this election, this country's done.
Yeah.
That is extreme rhetoric designed to make you believe that one side actually understands how the world works, and they're dope. They're not God.
Yeah.
And that's something I learned in school, that the entirety of academia, of academic learning, is this fundamental recognition that we don't know everything.
Yeah.
And that sometimes something will work and then years down the line, it will stop working. So we have to change it. So for you guys to sit here and cry and be upset that this guy won is like, you're really being narcissistic. You're being egotistical. And I think the best strategy would be, yo, work with these people. On a national and a local level, work with them. Hold them accountable. Criticize them. Do not glorify them like they're bases.
Yeah.
That will lead to the best outcome.
Listen, we're going to interview Trump. It's going to happen during Trump's term. We're going to get an interview. Whenever Trump comes to Rhode Island, we're going to make it happen. We're going to have him either stop by the studio. Well, more than likely stop by the studio. That'd be good. Imagine that. That'd be crazy. Secret Service in this bitch. My God. But speaking on before we get into, I want to get Marloon's reaction to all this as well. But staying on the Elon Musk shit, the Elon Musk shit is crazy because when we think about it, Elon Musk bought Twitter because he wanted Twitter to become more neutral. He felt like Twitter was too political steering towards one direction, right? And he wanted to become more neutral, freedom of speech, etc. A year into him buying Twitter now, a year plus now, what do we see Elon Musk doing? Elon Musk has only been right-leaning and conservative and only ramping up his only opinions, right? His opinions, making people vote or wanting people to vote for Trump, literally giving away millions of dollars. He's giving away millions of dollars to people that
We gotta talk about
we're
that
gonna be voters voting for Trump. Like it became so much of a contradiction type of moment for his career that I feel like it's not being spotlighted and highlighted enough. Whereas, like, yes, Elon Musk is a genius. He's done great things in life, and he will continue to do so for the future. But it's very dangerous what he's done with his power, because it goes to show you that he can sway an election.
Is it any different than what Mark Cuban was doing? And that's the frustration, you know.
I think it was, well, as far as what you mean, like, because Mark Cuban was telling people obviously not vote for Trump, to go against Trump. So, like, another billionaire saying that?
Yeah, Mark Cuban.
But this guy owns a social media. This guy owns, basically right now, the number one news source in the country, instant news, is X, Twitter.
Of course.
He owns it.
And he leveraged it.
And he leveraged it to his own way completely.
But didn't Mark Cuban leverage his authority to get on all those podcasts, leverage his credibility with his businesses and his success to invalidate Donald Trump as a candidate? Didn't Taylor Swift leverage her base, try to get them to register to vote for Kamala? Like, this is my thing. The issue here was, I agree with you. That nigga got an issue. That was evil. That needs to be highlighted. And that's what shows you there is a problem with money in politics. And Citizens United, which was the court ruling that decided that a corporation is no different than a person, and that you can put an unlimited amount of money into politics. That Scalia freaking he did his decision on. That is an evil ruling, and we need a constitutional amendment to fix money in politics. But when it comes to Elon and all these billionaires, they should not be having this strong of a voice.
Yeah.
Why does a billionaire get to speak on how my life should be? Why does a billionaire get to platform themselves, use their platform, leverage all of their resources to get a certain candidate in? Because there's obviously a benefit that he gets out of doing that. All I have is my vote.
Yeah.
I don't have anything more than my vote and my support. But this nigga has billions of resources. It gives him an unfair advantage. Again, why I said I don't want to vote for Trump or any of these candidates, because they're not Christian. A leader in my eyes, from my values and the things that I believe, a leader recognizes everyone. There is no favoritism. It don't matter if it's Elon, if it's one of us here, if it's a nigga on the street.
Yeah.
You're all put on the same level of, concern. Like, we have to prioritize
Empathy.
Yeah. And this nigga Trump is allowing Elon to publicly give niggas money to vote, basically.
Crazy, bro.
And that was insane. But then on the other side, you have Mark Cuban, you have Taylor Swift, you have Beyonce. You have them whipping out powerhouses to basically do the same thing. Not obviously not with money, but with resources and their influence. And it's like, yo, this shit is evil.
Because people were saying like voting for Trump was like people also voting for Elon Musk. Like, like they were voting because Elon Musk is so big. He's basically the biggest cosign throughout this entire election. People were voting for Elon. They weren't just voting for Trump. And also there might be a actual role for Elon Musk in office
in the administration. But I think he'd have to give up his CEO positions.
Yeah, exactly. But he probably is willing to do that, But imagine that. Elon Musk in the White House, right? Is it good? It's fucking scary. We don't know how crazy this shit can go, right? And we also have RFK Jr., who I'm a fan of. Shout out to RFK Jr. But RFK Jr. now, Trump said that he's going to put him in charge of
the FDA.
The FDA, well, the health, and he wants to, I think, shut down the FDA or something. Like he wants to
shut down a bunch of different departments that he feels are pointless.
Have been corrupt, etc.
Because it has.
It has been. There's been a lot of money that I feel has been pocketed throughout these organizations, and he wants to do things like eliminate fluoride from water, etc. I have fluoride-free toothpaste. Shawty thinks I'm crazy, but I have fluoride-free toothpaste. I've been on that wave a long time ago. Yeah, I've been on that fluoride-free wave. I don't need that shit. You guys can take your fluoride. God bless your heart. Do your own research and your own due diligence, but and let's not even talk about the COVID vaccine and stuff, because this whole live stream would be shut down. But yeah, no, it's called Make America Healthy Again. Maha. Like on Amanda Bynes, right? Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, it was Amanda Bynes.
Make America Healthy Again. Listen, there could be some upside with that, right?
No,
but it's dangerous, like where they're trying to do it right away. It could be sketchy. It could be sketchy. So, but I'm happy for certain things that can happen throughout this election. But there's a lot of power figures. Elon Musk, RFK Jr. alone, being with Trump involved, and then you add in Dana White, the Joe Rogan, that whole shit, right? Dana White shouting out Joe Rogan because he gave thanks to Joe Rogan because, the mighty powerful Joe Rogan, because he knows that Joe Rogan helped also sway the election. He literally endorsed him officially. These are things that time will tell, but it can be dangerous. It can be dangerous. But again, Kamala Harris, that campaign, looking back at everything now, it could have been better. It could have been better. But at the same time, who knows? It might have been impossible to when you get Elon Musk involved and all this shit, it might have been impossible to win this fucking election.
I think it was her election to lose.
Her election to lose.
Hell yeah. I think it was her election to lose even with that. And I'm going to tell you why. I agree with some of the stuff Trump is saying, some of the stuff Elon is saying, some of the stuff RFK is saying. Because they're right. There is a revolving door in Congress and in Washington. There are people that work for government institutions that then go on and work for the private companies. You need to understand, so many people don't know this. Dick Cheney, who was the VP under George W. Bush, who is notoriously known to have been the one favorite Dick. He was notoriously known to be the one to start the war in Iraq. No one understood why he wanted to be so desperately in Iraq and Kuwait. He worked for Halliburton before he went and became VP. As Halliburton, he was the head. Halliburton is a military is a weapons manufacturing company. He literally predicted if we took down Iraq in 1999, there's a whole video about this.
Yeah.
That if we took down Iraq, it would cause the exact issue that ended up happening in Iraq, and it would become a quagmire, and the neighboring countries would swarm, and it become literally a place for radical terrorism to rise. So we know that people transfer from positions, and RFK wants to end that. Donald Trump wants to end that. Donald Trump wants to put term limits on Congress. I agree with that. There are things that I agree with. But Kamala had to run on that. Drain the fucking swamp. That is what Bernie was running on too. Drain this fucking swamp that makes millions off of us by having people go from elected positions and positions in the federal bureaucracy and then going to work for these fucking multi-million-dollar companies because they did their bidding while they were in office. Yo, and on top of not just draining the swamp, the biggest reason why niggas voted for Trump, I'm talking to Latino niggas, and I finally understood why. It is this economy issue. And it has always been that. When you put a population of people, and it's been shown this since fucking World War I, when Hitler rose to power, read Keynes. Keynes wrote something after he went to the Treaty of Versailles. and I don't think it was the Treaty of Versailles, whatever treaty happened after World War One. And he said, the economic calamity that is about to fall on Germany will lead to the rise of a dictator. He wrote that after the Treaty of World War I. He predicted Hitler. He was one of the greatest economists to ever live. His name is Keynes. Look him up. Look up what he wrote. Because, when niggas get desperate, they'll go with anything.
Yeah.
You put niggas in financial desperation, bro. You put a man in financial desperation, he is doing anything to make it
Prostitution.
through. You sell some ass, I'm not blaming you.
Prostitution.
You sell some neck as a man, you need some bread, I'm not blaming you. But listen,
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.
Some niggas in the city right now necking someone off right now for $50.
Bro, it's hard. Pay
Pay that bill. Pay that rent, nigga. I get it. Do your thing.
There are barbers charging $50 for haircuts, bro. That's how bad it is out here.
Oh, no, yeah, that's outrageous.
People are feeling
Might
it.
as well just give some neck.
So when Kamala sits here and tells me that she gonna give me the same economy that Joe Biden did, and no one actually knows how the economy works, so they're not understanding that Trump's tariff policies are gonna be detrimental. Yeah. Kamala, you just said you're gonna give me the same fucking economy. I'm voting for this guy.
Yeah.
It's that fucking simple, bro. People are that desperate. I don't do shit that for money. Like I don't move me, but I get someone who will because they have livelihoods, nigga. Niggas have homes.
She should have just said like, yeah, I'm gonna do some of the stuff that Trump is gonna do, but I'm gonna do it better. And I'm gonna do it this way. But she shied away from that idea, right? And she would try to be like, I'm not Trump. And it's like, oh, I'm doing this differently, or like sugarcoat things. Yeah, man, it's crazy when you actually study this shit. I got kind of nerdy about it, like looking at the recent stuff and analyzing the numbers. It's literally American history that just happened before our eyes. So it's crazy. But Marlon, why'd you vote for Trump, Mar? Why'd you vote for Trump?
Why'd you vote against your family?
Against your fucking lineage.
First of all,
against your uncles.
First of all, I didn't vote at all. I've never voted in my life. I'm not even registered to vote.
Oh, you never been registered yet?
Never.
Really? I thought you were registered at least.
I've never registered to vote.
Okay. We're gonna make you sure you register
I don't
next
give a
year.
fuck
Or
about politics.
Next election when Dwayne The Rock.
I don't care about politics. So I'm here to represent the people who feel just like me. It is what it is. They're all just gonna rob us at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. I don't know anything about politics. I don't get all excited like how you guys get talking about this shit.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about it. I just worry about myself.
Listen, to each their own.
You know what I'm saying?
To each their own.
I don't know none of this shit. Bro, I'm going to sit down 3-4 hours, fucking rack my brain over fucking rules about bullshit and people making up shit that's never going to benefit us. Is always going to benefit the people that are sitting around that fucking round table.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's never for us. And if it is, quote unquote, it's like, oh, this is for you, blah, 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 they're going to fuck you another way. That's how it works. You think you think they're gonna take an L, bro? That's never gonna happen.
Yeah. No.
Oh, you know what, guys? We're gonna give you, like, for example, the stimmies. Oh, we're gonna give you the stimmies, this, and that, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? You got taxed on them shits the next year.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, come on. The government's never gonna fucking help you. Then the government's never gonna give you free fucking money. And if they do, it's gonna fucking come and you're gonna have to pay it in a different manner. That's just how it is, bro. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Keep it pushing. Enough of this conversation.
Listen, I understand it. And I respect that perspective, man. We have to understand this is a crazy time right now in the economy. Trump has won. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do next? You know, maybe now actually pay attention to his speeches, pay attention to his policies, because he's the president. You know, so pay attention to what's happening. If you're really upset about it, pay attention.
Marlon still voted against his family.
Marlon still voted for him. So
Yeah, you want to know what's funny? My coworkers they were like, "Yo, today's your last day, bro. It was nice knowing you."
God.
That's so funny.
You know what's funny? I work with
about to deport everyone.
with Hispanics. I was like, "Bitch, if I'm leaving, you leaving too." He's like, "I don't know, bro."
You going with me?
He's like, "I was born here." I was like, "Bitch, so was I." And then the day that Trump won, and I went in, and bro, it's so fucking funny, bro. Just to feed into my boy's bullshit. For some odd reason, bro, a cop shows up to work.
Oh my God.
So my boy's yelling from across the
day after the election?
He's like, Marlon, te están buscando.
Oh my
I'm like, yo,
God.
you fucking bitch, bro. I'm like, what are the odds, bro?
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
But like, were they really looking for you?
No.
What are they looking for? Just a car?
Yeah, some car that got crashed or some shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
That would have been funny as fuck if it was ICE though.
I would have sent them your way.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of fishy shit that happens in that basement.
I believe it. That's exactly why we're sending them your way.
I might have some workers down there.
Listen, man.
Yo.
You saw that lawn, nigga. That shit takes
People,
work.
to undecided voters, people that first time voters, people that don't do deep research. Trump was the decision because by default, if this current economy was not good, why would we have Kamala Harris again if she was already part of Biden's team? Kamala did not do nothing for the 4 years. This is their perspective, right? That's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get a lot of people like that. That's why I've ran into so many people like that, even locally. And the results are in, and we have it. It's gonna be a very interesting 4 years. So, buckle up, ladies and gentlemen.
And local matters more. So
Yeah, local matters more.
Local does matter more.
Local
Hold them
matters
accountable.
more. Local
Local
matters
does matter
more.
more.
So, and we're gonna have more local politicians. I want to have more local political debates in here. So that'll be interesting to have them on the podcast. So, but moving forward, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. When you were like saying that the presidents were Christian like or Christian minded,
yeah.
I was thinking about what was that Kanye song? He was like that ain't Christ like some shit.
Yeah.
Or he said his dad. Oh no, he said some
His
shit about
dad
his dad.
said that it was not
He said
Christ-like.
I spoke with my father. My father was like, that ain't Christ like.
Yo, Isaiah, Noel does do his house cleaning. Yeah, he you can rent them out. He will go clean your house.
Was it like a
House cleaners. Oh yeah.
Mow
no,
your
no,
lawn.
no,
sexual message? Was
No,
this?
no, because
He'll
he
mow your
has
lawn.
me on IG. He was part of the marketing team.
Okay.
Yeah, so he definitely.
Yo, before we continue,
He knows, bro.
my bad, my
Oh, we got some
bad.
donations in this
No,
bitch?
no donation, but
Okay.
someone was asking.
I
My
thought we were
bad.
getting MAGA.
My bad.
MAGA, $1,000, $2,000 for MAGA. I'm
You
like,
would've
okay,
thought, bro.
MAGA.
Trying to find it. Hold
Shout out to
up.
MAGA.
Hold up.
Is MAGA be tapping in? Would they be watching the lives?
Hold up. I didn't forget about you, bro. Hold up.
Also, invest in the stock market when Trump gets into office. It is notoriously known when Republicans win presidential campaigns.
Oh, the stock
market goes up.
is flying.
NASDAQ? What should we buy? What should we buy?
Everything.
NASDAQ?
Yo, everything's gonna go green.
They gon' love me for my ambition.
And that was a clip from our podcast, the Club Ambition podcast, Cap. If you're looking to watch the full episode, make sure to go check it out right now. It's available on audio and also on YouTube.